I have a rather large collection of single eyeshadows, over 600 different shades. And I was looking for some way to organize them and store them to make them a little bit easier to use. I had some rather large palettes, which was fine, but it was hard to reach for them. Some of the palettes that I had, as you'll see in the video, were very large. Storing them, it just was not convenient for me. So I was looking online to find a better solution, and I came across Devinah's video where she did a massive DIY eyeshadow, single eyeshadow organization system, and I went right online and purchased all the products that I needed so that I could do the same. Hey howdy, hey y'all, Leanna here. I purchased these wooden drawers. I bought 2 of them. There were 4 drawers in each of these boxes. You can see the other box right there on the shelf. These are art pencil organizers to store your art pencils in. And I turned these following Devinah's direction and what she did in her video, which I will have linked down below so that you can go watch her video as well. I turned these into single eyeshadow storage. This might be somewhat of a long video because I show you how I changed these from art pencil storage to single eyeshadow storage, magnetic single eyeshadow storage. So grab a snack, get a drink, relax, and let's get into it. Okay, so let me show you quickly how to prep this drawer. Super simple. These are glued in, but they're not glued in really tight. So I just pull on them until they pop loose, both ways, not just one way. Just gently work at it. Then once it's kind of loose, if you kind of push in the middle, it will pull them out of those sides. And we're going to clean that piece up. Alright, now I'm just going to take this razor blade. It would be better if I had, you know, the big long flat razor blade, but I didn't. This little X-Acto knife was all I had. And then I just take that and gently run that along to smooth this out. Don't dig, because you don't want to gouge it. You just want to clean up that little piece that was stuck. And then you can just kind of run your fingers along and you can feel where that glue was or where it's kind of rough. So I just take this and just scrape it. It almost sands it down. You can see the little dust particles from where it's just picking up that excess glue or any of the uneven surface and just smoothing it out so that your magnetic sheets will lay down nice and flat. It won't be bumpy. And then I just take this and knock it out in the trash can. And to make sure all of that dust is gone, I just take this old makeup brush and just dust that out. Because I don't want any of that dust to be in there for the sticky part of the magnetic sheets to pick up. And I see one little spot right there that I missed. Alright, that's nice and smooth. Let me show you how to prep the magnetic sheets. These are the magnetic sheets that I ordered from Amazon. When you watch Deb's video, she ordered a roll and then she cut them to size. That looked like a lot of work to me, so I ordered these 8 by 10 because these are 8 by 14, and I just figured it would be easier to cut one sheet than trying to get an accurate cut from that whole roll. So I'm going to take 2 sheets and one sheet will fit perfectly, so let's go ahead and put that one in there. You just pull the backing off. These are very sticky. They're not very friendly as far as being able to move them around, so you have to really make sure you get them in position correctly. So what I do is I put the corner and get it pushed up against that edge, and then I gently start to lay it down. I've noticed that these sheets are not exactly square. And then you just press them down. Now you can see that, like, I have a little bit of an edge here, but your eyeshadow pan is still going to be 90% on that magnetic sheet, so it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. Now I've already measured this because this is the third drawer that I've done, and I know that it's exactly 4 inches from the edge to this. So then I just take my other sheet and I measure. I don't have a ruler, so I'm having to use my tape measure. Just make sure that that's flat up against this flat edge. And I'm just taking my Sharpie pen and marking 4 inches. Okay, and I'm going to do that again down here. And now I'm going to flip this over so that it will lay flat. And I'm putting this off the edge of my desk. I don't know if you may not be able to see, the entire thing may not be in frame, but I'm just going to connect those two marks with a line. And this doesn't have to be exactly perfect either. So now, hopefully, if the camera's doing its job, you can see where I've connected those two marks. And I'm just going to take a pair of scissors. This cut's really easy. And I'm just going to follow the line. And now I'm going to make sure that the cut edge that may not be exactly even is going to be up against the wall of the drawer so that I can butt this other end up against this other piece so that I don't have any type of gap. And I'm going to do what I did on the other side when I put the other one in. I'm going to make sure that I have these butted up against each other as best I can. I do have just a little bit of a gap there. And then we're just going to put it down. And that's how easy it is to create a magnetic drawer for your eyeshadows. Now, let's get them all put in the drawers. Okay, here are all 19 of my single eyeshadow palette collection. My spreadsheet says I have 644 eyeshadows, and I do not have them sorted by brand. I have them sorted currently by shade. I have, in these two big Gimme Glow palettes, I have shimmers in one, and I have mattes in the other. So I think this time I am going to organize them by brand, which means that I need to figure out which of these are Sydney Grace and which ones of them are Give Me Glow. So let me do that real quick. Okay, so I've emptied out palette number 1. I'm going to get this cleaned up because this beautiful big giant palette that you can't get anymore because they discontinued them is going to a new home. On to the shimmers. Okay, if I'm mathing correctly, I have 187 Sydney Grace singles, and that's what I have here. Some of them you can't see over on this side because I need some room in the center to organize them by color. Well, all it looks like I'm doing is spelling words. You know, I watch people do this and it looks fairly easy, and I love to watch them do it, but this is not easy at all. Maybe I should try to organize them in the drawer. Let's talk about the drawer. As you can see, the drawer has numbers in it. I use the stickers. In my other big palettes, I wrote the numbers on there, but I tried to do the stickers. The stickers are not super easy to put on there. I keep sticking my fingers in them, my fingernails in them. See, that looks more pink, but I think I just want to go from light. I'm going to move these out of the way so I can put my drawer down. That might make it a little bit easier. I think I can put 104, did I tell you that? 104 shadows in a drawer. This is a hot mess. So I'm probably going to need 2 drawers for my Sydney Grace shadows. Okay, maybe this will be easier. I can tell you right now, this is not going to be perfect. Who's gonna fuss at me in the comments because I don't have it color graded right? I may have to go back later and put them in a different order. Yep, this is not going well, y'all. That's all right. It doesn't have to be perfect. I can go back later and fix the layout. For now, I just want to get them in there. Then that way I'll be able to see. You can see the colors better, the shades better. Ah, damn it, I keep sticking my fingers in them. Once you have them all laid out, side by side. See, like that does not go down here. All right, drawer number 2. I think what I will do is at a later date, because this is a little time consuming, I will organize these better by shade, get the color gradient correct, and then I will maybe show y'all what that looks like after it's done. I'm trying to do it somewhat, but it's amazing how different the shades look when you put them next to another shade. They look very different. Okay, down in the comments, let me know who's mad. I know sometimes stuff like this drives people crazy. But do you know, most of the time I am a terrible perfectionist. And I feel like if I can't get it perfect, then I shouldn't do it, or I shouldn't record it, I shouldn't show it to you. So breaking through that perfection, here are my Sydney Grace eyeshadows, not in perfect order, and it's fine. It's fine. I will also label, see if I can turn it up, label the outside of the drawers with the number, drawer number, and what brand is in it, because in my spreadsheet I have them in there by row number. Like, you know, this shadow right here is row 1-1, so that when I'm looking for an eyeshadow, that's how I can find it. Okay, let's move on to the next brand. Look at how messy. It's really messy. Quickly, I have this little palette. If you've been with me for a while, you know that this is my go-to everyday palette. If I'm in a hurry and I don't really have time to, you know, mess around with the intricate look or whatever, this is the palette I use. So I'm going to leave this palette intact and not put it in those drawers. That will go back in my drawer here beside me for easy grab. Next up, I'm going to do my Makeup Geek. These are in, what is this? Oasis Makeup eyeshadow palette, which is a nice palette. It has this cover that covers the top, and then this lifts out and you have more underneath. So this here, is it just these four? It might be just these four, are the Makeup Geek Color Matrix palette. I purchased that when they were going out of business, and I think these are just singles that I got from their going out of business sale. And this is the matte matrix matte palette that they did. So I am not going to put these in any type of color gradient. I am going to put them in as they are by palette, and then I have some singles that I will put in here as well. Yep, I believe that right there is the color matrix. Let me know down in the comments, what pan shape do you prefer? Do you prefer square or round? I think I actually prefer the square pans. So those are all of my Makeup Geek. I love having them all in one place where I can see them. My little palette, my little daily palette, these square pans are all Makeup Geek as well, but they're double shades. Like I have that one is this one. I love that. It's one of my favorite shade colors, but I love the Makeup Geek. Makeup Geek and Sydney Grace. Love them. Next are my Gimme Glow. And these are their original pans. If you follow Gimme Glow, you know that they have rebranded into a smaller 26 millimeter pan, which I prefer. I mean, these big pans are fine, but that's a lot of shadow, you know? And these are my new Gimme Glow. I've had these for a while, but these are my new ones that I got during their last sale. Okay, the order is a little bit crazy, but there's my Gimme Glow Cosmetics singles. And now we'll move on to my specialty shades. These are my Devinah, and I expect that as time goes on, my Devinah collection will end up in its drawer by itself. For now, these will probably go in here with some other shades. If you've never tried Devinah, you should give them a try. Amazing formula. And if you want to save some money off, you can go visit Andy at Andy Does Stuff. She has a code that I think saves you 10%. These are Terra Moon, and I don't know why I have one big giant pan of Terra Moon. These are new to me as well. These are the first Terra Moon singles or makeup at all that I've purchased. I have not used them yet. I was waiting to get everything moved over. This is drawer number 4. Do I want to put more in here, or do I want to... Let's see. What do I have left? I have Looxi, and these are Lethal. I have 2 Fantasy Cosmetica. I don't know what this is. And those were in my beautiful Hecate eyeshadow palette that I got from Devinah. Love that palette. What do I have in here? This is eyeshadow that I depotted. More that I have depotted. These are more that I have depotted, but these shades are more for setting, eye primers, and that type of thing. This is my Plain Jane. Maybe I'll put the Plain Jane in here. Do these have... Yes, they don't have names on them, but they have numbers. But this is not a standalone palette to me, so I want to take it out. Let me put it in the right order, though. Those pans are very, very thin. Very thin. Can you see how thin they are? Interesting. And I'm going to keep this because if I want to reassemble it, I can. I'll just put this with my magnetic palettes. And then I have my Clionadh. Where do I want to put those? I think I'm going to put them in here. I will move these up there. These were gifted to me. Some of them were gifted to me from Andy. Andy does stuff. These here, these smaller pans, are from the Dragon Teeny, is that right? Palette. Again, not a standalone palette for me, so I took them out so that I could use them as singles. Love, love, love the Clionadh shadows. Amazing formula. And again, I stuck my finger in it, so look. Stop sticking your finger in it. Look at that purple, y'all. That palette also came with these two big pans. Dragon Fruit. It was from the Dragon Fruit palette. And then these are the shades that were gifted to me from Andy. She gave me a gift certificate and I went and picked out these beautiful shades. I'm so happy to get all of these singles into these drawers so that I can start using them. I want to build my own palettes. This is Pear, Royal Pear. Look, can you see how pretty that is? It's coming off my fingers where I keep touching it. Royal Pear so far has been my favorite Clionadh shade. Okay. That's those. What do I have left? I think everything else is shadows that I have depotted. Those are all depotted. I'm not sure what I have over here. I have some AOA Studios that I don't know what I'm going to do with. Let me move this out of the way so I can figure out what I'm doing. Alright, so I'm going to put all of the shadows that I have depotted in a drawer. These are Juvia's Place. These are CXC Beauty. Can you see around the edge of that pan where it's beating up? Where the oils... Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the way that looks. Can you see that? Yep, you know what? I think I'm gonna declutter these. I don't like how that oil looks. Alright, these are Melt. And they came out of the Gemini 2 palette. I took them out because one of the shades, if y'all remember, one of the shades had mold on it. And then I emailed them, and I mean, a lot of people had that same problem. I emailed them and they sent me another palette, and the same shade in that palette as well ended up having mold on it. So I threw the moldy shades away and I kept these. I have the palette too, in case I want to reassemble it, but I thought I would use it as singles. These shades are the Natasha Denona Zendo palette. And I have a Zendo palette, but my daughter decided she didn't want her Zendo palette, and so I took the shades out because, like I said, I want to build my own palette, so I... And then I depotted these Devinah Cosmetics from the Celestial Storm. These were the only ones that I was able to save. The rest of them, daggone it, I keep doing that. The rest of them broke when I was trying to take them out. This is Complex Culture. It's just a one-off that I got from somewhere. These are more Juvia's Place. These were Juvia's Place, right? Yes. So let's put these up here. I don't remember what palette did that come from. Allure 2, which was not a standalone palette for me, but I like the shades, so I depotted it so that I could use the shades, you know, when I'm building palettes. And then I believe the rest of these are Nomad, because the color story in these palettes just were not standalone again. But I wanted to keep some of these shades because sometimes you need a different shade. So those are from the Fire and Ice palette. And the Catalina, is that right? Cartagena Magetica. Am I saying that right? Alright, so Christopher called while I was doing all of that, so I just went ahead while I was talking to him and threw all of those in there. I do have some one-offs, like this is from Copaesthetic that I got in like one of their little cutie bags that I'm just gonna throw in here. This, I don't know what palette that came out of. It just has the number 1 on it. So I'm going to just throw that right there. And what else do I have? These. These 4 are Anastasia Beverly Hills. Do I want to put these in here? I have 3. These are 3 Jeffree Star singles. I don't know where I got those from. So we'll put those in there. This is Shroom. Is that Makeup Geek? I don't know. I need to get the magnifying glass out. These are AOA Studio. I don't know if I'm going to keep those. Even though they're not bad. They're not a bad formula, but I have enough amazing formulas that I don't necessarily need to keep these. And it's funny that some of them, they just have the name on it, but then some they actually put a sticker on it that says AOA Studios. Here's two more. Those might be MAC. These are AOA Studio. I don't know. I mean, they're really not a bad formula. I don't know. Maybe I'll put those in a standalone palette and play around with them. Let me get my magnifying glass so I can see. I'm pretty sure these are MAC. Yep, that's MAC. That's MAC. But I still believe this is Makeup Geek. No, actually, I think that's MAC as well. I think all three of those are MAC. Do I want to leave those in there or put them somewhere else? Do I have room to put them? I actually like those shades. Can I get them in my little palette? I don't use this. This is a little Natasha Denona sample. I'm going to put these in my daily palette. I don't use this, which was a Lunar Beauty that was in the Advent eyeshadow palette that he did. I don't know what shade, what that is. That has nothing on it. I pulled that out of somewhere. That give me enough room. I do love that Shroom shade. That, y'all can't even see what I'm doing. That looks just like that. Well, it's a little bit lighter, but okay, there we go. Then that way I can get some use out of those three MAC shades. I'm leaving these shades in this palette because I can use these, or I intend to use these like for lid setting shades, you know, for a primer. I'm gonna put these in a palette. Will they fit in this palette? But I took those other shades out of. Let me clean it up a little bit. So I put these AOA Studio shades here. I'm going to throw this over here in my drawer with my everyday palette, and I may play around with those to see if I'm going to keep them or not. So this is ready to go back in my box over there. I forgot about these, which are Shine by SD Cosmetics. This is a Little Mean Greens palette, and I'm going to take these out and put them in my, or I might just set it in there. I don't know. We'll see. So rather than take them out, I mean, this is not a standalone palette, but it is shades that I may pull. And if I wanted to play with them, I could just pull the whole palette out and use it with my mattes. So rather than take them out, I'm just going to set it in here like that. Now, I said that I was going to go back through and attempt to better organize the shades in like a color gradient. I have not done that. I will do it. I don't know if maybe I'll do that in a video if you want to watch me struggle through that, let me know down in the comments. But what I have done is I have this very nice little labeler. I will link this down below, along with all the other products that I use will be linked in the description. But this is a little labeler, and it comes with an app so that I can make my labels. So what I have done is I have labeled my drawers. So this drawer has Sydney Grace in it. It's just amazing, because now I can just pull these drawers out and find my shadows, because I have them in a spreadsheet by row. I have the numbers, like it'll say Sydney Grace, and then it will be row 1, shade 8. That's how I have them in my spreadsheet, so that I can find them quickly. And then the second drawer, which is also Sydney Grace. See, I'm still trying to figure out how to organize them by color gradient. This says Sydney Grace 2, so that I can number all of the shades so I know where they're at in the drawer. These are my Makeup Geek. And then this drawer has Devinah Cosmetics, Terra Moons, and Shine by SD in it. I am super excited. The other drawers have Clionadh, all of the rest of the shadows. I mean, you watch me put them in there, and I still have one empty drawer, so I have lots of room to expand my collection, because, you know what, how many did I say I have? How many do I have? 644. Well, no, I don't, because I decluttered some of them. But anyway, over 600 with room to expand. I'm quite excited, because I really like building my own palettes. So I'm super excited about this. I'm so happy to have them in the drawers so that I can just pull them out. I mean, hell, I could do a look. This is a massive palette right here, right? I hope you enjoyed watching me complete this project. It was super fun. Thank you so much, Devinah, for videoing this process so that I could watch you do that and create my own. I am so grateful to you for sharing that on your channel. Y'all make sure you go check out Devinah if you do not know who she is. That girl does amazing, amazing makeup. Amazing. When I grow up, I want to be just like her. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you enjoyed the video, show that like button some love. If you have a little bit more time to spend with me, you can check out this video, and if not, then I'll see you in the next one. Okay. Love you, bye.